he just said if this happened in June or whatever, no one would care. I disagree. This is not a regular slump. This is a guy who's supposed to be one of the best hitters in baseball, who's incapable of hitting strikes. He's swinging at strikes.
Can't hit forward. Can't hit the ball forward.
No, as he said. He and his translator admitted it. He can't hit the ball forward. We were even giving him credit yesterday for hitting it backwards. He was fouling pitches off, and Lou Merloni's like, oh, yeah, this is a little step forward. At least he's making contact. And he is, and I do believe this, Fitzy, this is something I never saw in my junior league baseball, T-ball days. The guy at the bottom of the order, every once in a while would stick the bat out and the ball would bounce off of it. And everybody would be like, yay, hit the ball. And you're like, oh, phew, not another strikeout. He can't do that right now. And if you strike out 15 times in 19 at-bats, I don't care if it's March, April, May, June. I'm going to pull a Francesa and list all the months, July, August, September, or October. People will bitch. People will be complaining because that's ridiculous. And then thanks to Dan Ball, we now know this actually dates back to last season when he couldn't hit the baseball.
Which is crazy.
In 9 games, he's struck out more than anyone in the history of the game.
The last 4 games of last year and the first 5 games of this year.
And yes, Dan Ball.
He's also struck out more than anybody through their first 5 games of a season officially.
Guess what?
Can I also...
Guess what? Real quick, hold on, Fitzy. Guess what?
Sure.
Yeah.
If he's still at 15 strikeouts after 6 games, it's still a record.
Oh God!
So it's not. Yeah. That's
a great stat.
How about this one, just for a little historical perspective, which I know the youngs aren't always in on, but you know what? I'll boomer it up here for a minute because it is sports radio. How about this? A listener in Texas, my buddy the Z-Man, sends in a text that says, just for contextual purposes, no exaggerating, there were seasons where Joe DiMaggio and Tony Gwynn went longer with fewer strikeouts.
Oh, absolutely.
Seasons.
Yeah, Tony Gwynn, 15 strikeouts. They were making the rounds on Twitter yesterday. All these weird stats of the great hitters.
Yeah, put some perspective.
Alex Cora, I don't want to call you out, but what you said is misleading. I get what you got to do. He's your guy.
Oh, he's manifesting hard.
And I just. This isn't a normal slump. This isn't, and this is where we're going to get into questions of what preceded this. And what preceded this was the situation in the spring about DH. No, I don't want to play it. And then we were convinced. You told me, first and foremost, this was all going to work out.
Boy,
it has not worked out.
Wrong.
So you can take your victory lap on Joe Milton. You got to take your dumbass lap or whatever the opposite end of a victory lap is, loser lap, because this is not working out.
I didn't mean it to do it. Wouldn't look. I didn't see this coming. I said that they weren't gonna. It wasn't gonna be a bickering. He wasn't gonna, make it an issue in the locker room. I think I was right on that. It's just I didn't see him falling apart once he started this season, and he's been awful. I mean, I think he had remember how many times he'd push back his start date? He had maybe 15 bat attempts in spring training. When I'm watching one of the videos that Dan sent, it was excellent. Where these guys need around 50 at bats in spring training to get their timing down. He wasn't even close to getting to that.
Oh, his timing is the opposite of down. It is so far away.
It's mid-March to him at this point now.
The reason I question what you just said, that you didn't think he'd be a problem behind the scenes or whatever, I don't know if he's a problem behind the scenes or not.
We would know about it.
I think we may be getting signs of it because on a team-owned media outlet called Nesson, Jonathan Papelbon had this to say post-game, and this leads me to believe that it's getting close to open season on Rafael Devers.
Maybe he's out of shape. I don't know about both of them, but, game shape, playing shape. But, maybe we got to trim a little bit of fat, Jim. You know what happens when you trim fat?
Well, we know they're not in hitting shape, right? So they're not hitting. Okay, go ahead. We're talking about trimming fat. What happened?
Pig squeal.
Oh.
Where's this going?
No, go ahead. I'm just saying, you trim fat, pig squeal. That's what you're looking for your pigs to squeal.
They need some squealing.
Hit home runs.
They need some squealing.
It was sharks to blood. It looked like a pig on ice. There you go.
This pig is not squealing or whatever. But Papelbon is calling him fat, out of shape, and he needs to be squealing. That surprised me. And I know Papelbon is
player on player like that.
Is a wild card. But he's a player. He's a fraternal member of that organization, but he's a current member of that organization in the broadcast crew.
We'll see how long that lasts.
It's entertaining. Yeah. And I love Jim Rice. We know they're not in hitting shape because they're not hitting. Wait, what were you talking about?
Hey, Jim's my man, Andy Dufresne, on that roof right now. Because he told that staffer, hey, shorten that swing down and just hit line drives. And the staffer looked at him like, hey, you know what, Jim, why don't you, what do you know about hitting? Why don't you just let us take it from here?
So from my perspective, if I'm reading tea leaves, And maybe I'm reading too much into it. I've been accused of that. Oh, you guys, I'm in the media, you radio guys, you read too much into it, Fitzy. You people used to tell me that, your friends. But
well, you got a 4-hour show to do every day. I understand, blah, blah.
But also, no, very simply, when I see people that I think are usually really careful with their words or, don't say certain things, because, hell, I lived the life for 20 years. I worked for Patriots Football Weekly and Patriots.com. There were limits.
Thank you for your service.
Mm-hmm.
When I see people that are paid by the Red Sox being really close to disrespectful, over the top critical, it makes me wonder if they've been given the green light because the organization is pissed off at whatever the heck is going on behind the scenes. And maybe Rafi's immaturity and his mentality is the reason more than his timing or his shoulders or his at-bats. So I thought that Papelbon, and in the broadcast even, there were some Kevin Millar comments that were a little biting.
Very similar.
So
that's a good point you're bringing up.
When you're given the green light to be critical on Nesson of the $300 million DH,
face of the franchise,
that might be a sign that there's a lot going on there.
You know what? And that's fine. If that's how they get their message, that's probably not a bad way to get the message to Rafi because how sensitive he is, as opposed to just being direct. You kind of this narrative starts. These guys kind of light the fire, and then it takes off, and then it's up to Rafi whether to take that in and use it as motivation or not. But he does look a little doughy, doesn't he? I mean,
a lot doughy.
He looks
a little doughy. He looks like he's in horrible. Just be honest. You can have a John Kruk body, and that's fine if you're a high average hitter with a track record of being able to do so for years. But you come in with bunk shoulders, a bad attitude, and now you look like you're playing at your heftiest weight to date. That is a trifecta for disaster as far as Rafael Devers goes. And the first thing I'm going to ask Alex Cora tomorrow is the offseason regimen for Rafael Devers with the shoulders. Why surgery was ruled out, and does he think it was a success given that it looks like he's 5 miles per hour behind the fastballs?
But it's not the shoulder's not the issue, Fitzy, right? You know that.
It's two of them.
But you're not using that as an excuse, are you? Are you using that as an excuse for Rafi Devers?
No, I'm not saying that's an excuse. I would send him to the injured list right now.
But not because he's injured.
Injured list
not
fat?
Because he's injured.
What's the injury?
Well, let me just get this out of the way. But Alex Cora has
fine designation as far as I'm concerned.
Alex Cora has definitively said that he is not injured, and he is a DH. And it's not because he's not hitting poorly because he's been made a DH and because something's wrong with his health. So he's basically said those two things are not issues, and so do not use his health as an issue for his bad hitting.
But I think some of that snowballs as you strike out 3 times, 4 times. Now you start thinking, feeling, trying, because the more you think about it, okay, now we got a problem. Now it's a stressor. You've done this for year after year. You earned your $300 million contract by doing it one way. Now you're the other way.
It's almost like trying to fix your golf swing while you're playing golf.
Right.
It's hard to do.
Right.
That's why,
like a 7th hole adjustment on 18.
You're terrible.
Yeah.
It's just get a Miller Lite and move on.
The idea of putting him on IL is not the worst idea ever.
No, it's not.
You give him 2 weeks to revamp his swing, figure it out, and then come back.
I also hate the idea, though. I feel like you are. So he screwed around in spring training, and now you just give him 2 weeks off to go screw around some more.
Right.
It's like you're I don't know. You're rewarding his unprofessional approach.
But you owe it to the people in the dugout. You owe it to the people that are working tirelessly to improve this team, or at least keep it above water. And you are doing a disservice to the people that pay the good money to watch on Nesson or to go to Fenway. If he's this messed up right now, get his head, get his bad shoulders, get his distorted body out of the lineup for a few weeks. Get it right.
He is killing the
Your
lineup.
boy David Hamilton would be a better DH.
Oh, now we're talking. I told you you'd need him at some point. I didn't know it would be to take over for
Jaylen Brown
Devers.
would DH. Doesn't matter. Put Jim Rice in. He's a mess right now.